Okay, so at this point, I want to introduce Cajaun Cleveland, who's an undergraduate scholar here at Navajo Technical University. We've been connecting with her and her project over the past at least 1 year. And so she's going to tell us a little bit about her project on preserving the Navajo language using AI and data science. So let me just pull this up and then I will share screen and I'll invite you to the podium.
Okay, yat Cajaun Cleveland Yanishiak ya ani nishle dot footage eat bushes chin tina jenny che dot zilga internet chini dashanella akut the nebula ashkla nishle ada the nest and nishle and I am also Miss Indian Rodeo 2026, but my crown is in my truck right now. I'll bring it out later. But thank you all for coming this morning. This is such a great forum to have, especially for our faculty members to learn about AI. I think it's very important because our students are already very, very well brought up in the AI world, but our faculty kind of lack some information about that. So I'm very excited for this to happen. So this started off as a research project, a very, very small idea of mine that Dr. Stage and I collaborated on almost 2 years ago. And he had asked me to be an intern for him, and I didn't know anything about research methods or anything like that at all. So I didn't know what I was getting into. So my research project is based on incorporating the Bizaad into a dataset format for machine learning and artificial intelligence. I've collaborated on a few students who have graduated from Navajo Technical University, Jennifer Morgan and Jacob Largo. I've also collaborated with Catherine Haller from Harvard Seas. And then now we're collaborating all together with Carnegie Mellon University and a lot of other people who are also interested as far as linguists and other students who are in the PhD program as well. So basically today I'll be talking to you about how NTU and Diné studies are incorporating Diné Bizaad and trying to utilize that to preserve the language. So we'll go ahead and identify our problem first, create a solution, talk about our process, talk about continuous development and expected changes that we expect throughout this whole process. Okay, so as many of you may know now and become familiar with, AI is very, very much growing as we speak. It's been growing since ChatGPT. However, AI is a process of trying to get science and technology to think like a human. So in order for that to happen, we must first achieve at machine translation, to achieve at natural language processing, and then finally achieve at artificial intelligence to recreate that artificial language. From there, we try to create several models that will achieve natural language processing as far as Navajo language. If you're not already aware, Navajo language is very complex. It is also very contextual. So it's very, very difficult to get such a complex language to comply with an AI data set. However, we're doing it somehow. So basically, we're trying to teach AI how to speak Navajo. And so teaching AI that one individual how to speak Navajo could teach millions, if not more, how to speak Navajo as well. So our goal here is to teach AI how to translate English into Navajo or Navajo into English. So currently, our data set is formed of 120,000 rows that we must achieve at in order to achieve at natural language processing itself. Our format follows a CSV file. And so right now with 120,000 words or terms, it comes out to 7.7 megabytes, which is not that large, I think. But we utilize a 2-column format from English to Navajo. You can see that in the left column, you can see my younger brother. And then in the right column, you see my younger brother in Navajo, Sitzile. And then you go down the rows and you see also the different types of terms that are translated. And we are aware of the typo that was made in this one. That was also corrected. And so we tried to pair up our data set into English and Navajo format. But one of the thoughts that was brought up at a recent conference we attended was, why not do Navajo to English instead? Because your main focus is Navajo, so why are you using English first? So that's something that we're taking into consideration as well, which is not a hard transition. And so basically we're training the model to translate English and Navajo to English to the best of its abilities. So currently there are existing applications of translation models out there. We have Google Translate, which you may be most familiar with. We have Rephrasely, and we have a lot of other translation tools. However, Google Translate does not have a Navajo setting, and Rephrasely does have a Navajo setting, but it has a really, really inaccurate data set. So that is the example at the bottom. Rephrasely is an AI-powered tool that is online. It is active right now, which means that false information and inaccurate information is given through this currently, which is a really, really big problem because in Navajo language, our language is very much respectful, but it's also very, very contextual, which means that you could be saying something wrong with just a missing of a vowel or a mispronunciation of a consonant. And so it can change your whole term from a positive term to a negative term. And so you don't want to do that. So you can see at the bottom here, they're trying to translate my younger brother. And in the right-hand column, you can see that my younger brother is translated to Shik-E Do Hastin. And that doesn't really mean my younger brother in Navajo. That basically means my family and a man. So that's a really, really inaccurate response that we got from Rephrasely. We've tested this multiple times and got inconsistency also in the searching of my younger brother. So it's not only utilizing the language that's out there right now, but it's also utilizing inaccurate language that's out there. So our language comes from a long line of history. If you do not know, our language was utilized during World War II as a code, which means that we've been coding for so many years now, and it's nothing changing as we are coding into technology today. We also utilize the language in books now, in literacy, and on printed documents. However, we have a hard time digitizing those documents. Right now, we have PDF files only. And so it's very difficult for our language to be digitized just because of the complexity. However, it is possible because I've been doing it for 2 years now. One of the things that is here is the Young and Morgan Dictionary, and this is the translation that is also listed here. Young and Morgan is also anthropologists and linguists that are non-Navajo. So they were the ones that came up with a standardized format of spelling for the Navajo language. However, this research focuses also on reclaiming our language back and learning it, literacy as well as spelling, and taking back our language to make it from a more Navajo natural perspective. So basically, we're reclaiming our language back through technology. Today, our Navajo language stands at a slow decline, if you may not know. As well as we speak it, as well as our elders speak it, the younger generation still has issues trying to become fluent in the Navajo language. But the next big thing is technology that they look forward to. Media has helped tremendously as far as radios, TikTok, social media, television, and they have helped tremendously with Navajo language. However, AI is the next big thing, and that's what's going to save our language, I think. So our Navajo data set is formed of the topics in the purple box. We cover a formal introduction as well as shapes, letters, numbers, a whole numerous number of things that you would use in a daily classroom setting. This could also be used outdoors as well. You also learn about titles as in teacher, Mr., Miss, and whatnot. And so in evolving this data set, you see a third column that is also listed, and those are the sentences examples. So essentially, we are getting to the sentence examples. So the current literacy out there, or literature out there, I'm sorry, are Diné, Bizaad, Nahoa, Young and Morgan, Leon Wall dictionaries as well. And these are all really, really great sources that utilize the Navajo language. However, I would really encourage that we take our language back and to make it from a natural perspective, a monolingual perspective, and to also incorporate the difference between intergenerational teaching and how we're learning it now. Our children are very much learning it through textbooks like the Bizaad and Navajo, and so that's how they speak it. However, if this student in today's society were to speak to a monolingual person or a Navajo code talker, for instance, they would not understand each other because of the change in language. So in this way, we can digitize all forms of language and try to find that kind of similarity between all types of languages that Navajo language has within, and to really incorporate a more of improvement of speaking the language, as well as digitizing, reclaiming language back, and to really utilize that to teach, but to also preserve the Navajo language. So this is my research project, and this is what has come up for 2 years. We have also been working on publication with Andy. I think she's on as well, with Norm, and we've also been working with Ted Bernal, as well as Lori, Carnegie Mellon University, Harvard, Catherine, and the other interns are kind of getting into it. And we're very, very excited for this project because it's not just a little thought anymore. It's something that's literally changing our society now. And I think it's very, very moving. So thank you all for listening to my project today. Yeah.